we're all here, so I will call the September 8th, 5:30 meeting of the Ripley Power Board to order and ask for a roll call by the clerk.
Alderman Austin.
Here.
Alderman Chipman.
Here.
Alderman Frazier.
Here.
Alderman Keeley.
Here.
Alderman Long.
Here.
Alderman Thompson.
Here.
And Mayor Pitchy.
Here. And we have Superintendent Aldermen is with us as well. The August 4th, 2025 meetings are printed and were in your package as delivered. You've had a chance to look at those. Entertain a motion that they be approved. Second. Mr. Frazier moves. Mr. Chipman moves. Is there a second? Is there discussion? If not, we'll vote. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed say no. You adopt those. Any public comments?
No, sir.
All right. We don't have any public comments for tonight's meeting. My comments are, we appreciate the RPL giving us the funds flow and some other information about that we'll certainly wade through and see, and monthly usages and other information. And that's maybe the superintendent to just go over that at your appropriate time, which it is now. So I recognize you for your report and comments, and let us know what you provided us.
Okay. First thing I provided was the, as you can see, the funds flow. It kind of gives you a snapshot of what we're doing. On the second page, I'm going to go through this pretty quickly here.
Right.
You can see things like the tax equivalent that we pay the cities. We pay the city $490,000. I guess 2025. This is a June. If you look at this June, they hadn't got July finished yet. They're a little bit behind. I think on, if we go through the funds flow, if you look on page 5 of 40, and you can see where we are in June with the net cash flow operating funds of $2.8 million, so we're in good shape there. On this next page, you'll see that total operating funds and temporary investments are a little over $10 million. $4,127,000 of that is Silicon Ranch's prepayment for the transformers and equipment that we'll be getting for them. On page 7, if you look at the very bottom of that page, under 2025, you'll see 3.7. That's purchases to sales. It's basically line losses, transformer losses unaccounted for kilowatt hour, so it's 3.7%, which is pretty good. Then each month we go through a rate sufficiency, and what we do is that's calculated to see what it should be, and then as you'll see at the bottom, it's compared to the actual revenue to make sure there's nothing wrong or nothing off about it. As you can see, it's 0.067%, so we're really, really close on that. The rest of it is again, the rate sufficiency information that we go through each month. As you can see, and I guess one of the statements I made in the letter I sent, some of this has industrial customer information. There are some industrial customers, and that's what my question is, how much information do we need? Some industrial customers may not want their information divulged. I know it's a request for collections that again requires me to divulge information on people that are delinquent on their bill. I'm not sure we really want to do that in a public forum. Other than that,
they're otherwise in figures in a broader category. Is that right?
Yeah.
It's industrial rather than.
Yeah, this is industrial. On the residential, I think we had some of that. We may have blanked out some numbers on that particular part. But for the residential, as far as collections, of course, that's a monthly thing. What we do is, once a year generally, they're compiling that now, we'll write off those that we couldn't collect, which again divulges information on the customers, and sometimes that's.
Is it not permitted under law to do that?
It's certainly permitted under, I mean, we present it to the board. Once it's presented to the board, most of that's public information.
Right.
Yes.
But you've never had any problem with?
I've never had anybody, because I've always had an independent board that are separate from, not the news media, but nobody ever asked for it.
Yeah.
It's certainly available if they did.
But it's all actually public information?
Yeah, it's all public information. Unless there's a question on that, it's easier to look at, if you're a picture person, to see all of these colors and all kind of give you an indication of, you'll notice the red is residential. Most of the people think the residential is the great load, and the industrial, the industrial kind of subsidizes the residential. But if you notice those red peaks, that's residential. That's what drives your rates. That's why the rates are high. We have to build generation, we have to build transformation to be able to serve that highest peak. Well, see, you can see it's not always up here, it's down here. If you look at the industry, they're a lot more, because they use power, 24 hours a day or 12 hours or whatever, so it's a lot more consistent load. The tour we went on, those people, they would be virtually a straight line across here, which would be the best of the best. Anyway, kind of shows kind of what we do as far as sales. It'll tell you whether it's going up or down, but it'll give you a snapshot of where we are and what we're doing. The other thing that I guess I need to cover, two things. One thing is, I try to hurry in. I guess it depends on what information you're going to want. I've never had just a 30-minute board meeting before. I know that's what we're doing, 30-minute board meetings, and I try to hurry and limit what I'm doing here. So I don't know if we're going to keep doing 30-minute board member meetings or.
We'll do them as long as you want, but I've noticed in the history that the board meetings have been
Generally, they're
really
quick.
short.
If there's nothing really going on.
Right. And that's
But it
the
just
same
depends
here.
on how much of this you want to.
If there's things that you would rather do at a different time, I would sure this board wouldn't have a problem there. It's just we've got everybody together.
Right.
No,
So-
there's no time limit or no.
So we could meet at
minimum
a different time if it was present, or if we.
Yeah, if the board decided to do that, but no, we looked at all this, and with your prior board meetings, I didn't see any very lengthy at all.
Yeah, generally they're not, but I just wanted to make sure. Along those times, moving on, the next board meeting, I think, is on October the 6th. As far as the power board meeting, I'm not sure what you want to do about this. I have a utility conference I need to be at on the 6th. I'm wondering, can we move that to a different date?
Certainly, if you have, you need to be somewhere, we can certainly do that, or we can, is there a requirement that we meet every month on this board? Have you been taking that as a requirement?
I've been taking it as a requirement.
I think it's supposed to be
Okay.
monthly.
I'm not sure if you have to or not. I don't know what the penalties are if you don't really.
Well,
I just,
yeah.
like I say, I just
Just
wanted
need
to
to
let
follow
you
the
know
law,
that.
whatever the law says.
Yeah.
But, yeah, we can work that out. And, how have you done that before?
Yeah, we just moved it to a different date.
Just a different date?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, we just called everybody and see what the best date and time would be.
We'll just have to make sure we have enough time to give public notice for that particular date. Okay.
Right.
Yeah, no problem there.
Okay. Now, you want to go on to the next item?
All right, is that all you had for
That's
your
all.
comments? Does anybody have any questions, Mr. Alderman, about any of that? It'll take us a while to get comfortable with this.
I
but-
really don't have a question, but I do have a comment if we have time.
Yes, sir.
I appreciate the team's efforts in that seamless transformer swap out we went through about a week or so ago, man. As far as I know, it was smooth sailing and I ain't heard no complaints, so make sure all the team knows.
They are good at what they
That
do.
boy.
They are good.
Well,
And what that entailed is they just ordered two 2,500 kV transformers, which are big transformers, and put a new one on, I guess, what would be the west end, northwest end or whatever, and then replaced the one that was on the south end. So we've got to do that without disrupting their operation.
Sounds easier than it is.
Yeah, it's tricky, but it's something we're accustomed to doing.
and that's certainly what we want to hear, what this board wants to hear, so we can let the public know. And another thing I mentioned, last weekend, well, it was 2 weekends ago, we had some power problems at the football field. The lights went out and we had to, it might have been a blessing that we had to cancel that game that particular night, but anyway, they were up.
We can do that pretty much
Well,
on demand.
That's one of those things we'll just keep to ourselves and do that. But they were ready to go the next week, unfortunately. But we appreciate the prompt response to that.
Yeah.
Mayor, before we get into the next, you might have asked a question.
No, sir.
How are we on the internet? It just stands still?
I'm not sure what your question is. As far as the internet that we have, where
Yeah.
we've gotten it to, we're doing good right now. We're probably gonna have a little bit more effort in publicity. We've got a strange, I'm not sure why they're doing it, or I guess I maybe can guess. Fort Deer Electric has decided, for some reason, after we've already run the internet to entire town halls, they've decided that they're gonna go underground and provide internet to the whole city of Halls. Now, I'm gonna tell you, that's super, super expensive. As you remember, when Ritter came through town, you remember what chaos that caused. It's already causing that kind of chaos as far as cutting lines and that kind of thing. I don't run their operation. I don't understand the economics of it. I don't understand when we got it there, how you can go underground, which is generally about 3 times as expensive, and try to serve the same customers. I'm sure the end goal is to get the franchise from us, which is about 4 years away. This is the third time, this will be the third time that Fort Deer, of course, Fort Deer's in the city limits of Halls. We're actually supposed to be serving them. I told them as long as they stop this kind of stuff, they can serve themselves. It would politically be the worst move Halls, Tennessee ever made because of the rate difference. It's not just serving internet, but our rates are less than Fort Deer's. And again, we keep making this, and that's how we get the franchise each time, because it is considerably more expensive on the customers, and that's through the city is there to represent. So I don't see that. I'd hate to be a mayor and board that made the decision to stick the customers with a lot higher utility rates. And to get internet, we would either still have the internet there, then we'd still have those customers. The thing is, we had, to answer your question, we hadn't moved any further because of the expense. I mean, we know that we could go through Gates and Curve and get it closer to Ripley for about $300,000. We may need to go on and do that while we can get it done, but we've got to get it there to eventually get here.
Wasn't there a grant promised to you by the Hall Porter Bear Dog? If they got it, is that correct?
No, they did not get it. it was a grant promised, I agree. I mean, we've been promised a lot of money from county to everybody else, but it actually is kind of like when you get the money, it's not so important to
Gotcha.
give it to you anymore. And here's the risk, there's some really downside risks. I mean, right now, we've got right at 300 customers in halls. That's more than, that's a higher take rate. Well, that's a high enough take rate where it reduces a 20-year payback to maybe a little less, 15 maybe years. What you want is a 35 to 40%. But again, the more competition you have, and when we come to Ripley, we don't only have AT&T, then we got Spectrum, then we got Ritter. So but you're talking about millions of dollars when you get here. So the tough decisions I would say that you have to make is you may have to go to those subdivisions that truly won't require that, you know, you got 50 houses in this subdivision, we need at least 25 signed up before we run into this subdivision. If you don't, we got this one down the road that'll take it. We know people like Ken, you know, basically got dial-up speed trying to work from home. You can't do that, plus you can't attract industry if you don't have high-speed internet. It is easy to say I want it. It's a little more, we're finding it's a little more difficult, because we would have thought that just everybody signed up. What you don't realize is some older people don't use internet. A lot of people just use their phones. They don't get internet connected. So we have to make sure, because it puts the utility department at high risk if we go too fast and too far. And like I say, I know Cliff Sweat, I hope he's not listening. If you know where he lives, it's all on top of the bluff. Well, to get to him and those people past him, because we serve the church at the top of the bluff, that's a lot of expense for not that many customers. But then their customers, you know, you want to try to get it to everybody, so.
Is it true that the Fort Deer hasn't put any underground in yet? They've not?
They got contractors boring
it now, okay.
which that financially no one in this industry can understand.
Yeah.
It doesn't, because if you if you were gonna take our franchise, you thought you were gonna be successful, why wouldn't you just take the internet and buy it at the same time? Because you're never gonna, for the expense they would have to do what they're doing, if they got half the customers we got now, they would lose their shirt. So it just doesn't make any, I don't understand what they're doing or why.
Well, so we're basically watching what happens in Halls, and we're watching what we can do down here, and then what Fort Deer ends up doing to make a decision or move forward or whatever for.
Right, and that's, in probably the next few months, we'll make a decision and try to figure out exactly what the cost would be to get it at least to Ripley, get it to Ripley. And if we can, you know, the further we build down, the better off. I mean, the quicker we can move to make that decision. Warning, the first, I'm gonna let this board make that decision if you're the board. The first subdivision you choose, then everybody else is gonna be mad if they don't have it. So just be forewarned that once you start, the people that don't have it are gonna be evil.
Or maybe we can choose more than one subdivision when we
Well,
have enough.
I think we can, but like I say, there's gonna be some,
Right.
it's a tough one.
Any other questions about that or any other subject? Good. Thank you for that explanation, and we're glad to follow that. How about nothing else on your particular report? All right. And item 7 is consideration of TDEC Brownfields Redevelopment Area Grant Program called BRAG BRAG. You're recognized.
Yeah, this is just part of the environmental thing. When we took over, when TEP gave us that facility. I had talked to TDEC, they said that they would help us work through the brownfield agreement, which releases us from any responsibility.
Are you talking about the building?
Exactly,
that-
where the expo is held. As you know, they had contaminated areas in the back. They have since been cleared, but they're still, TDEC to finalize this thing wants to put them on that area under a land restriction, use restriction. We understand that. What we don't want and don't understand, I told them, we don't want to just lump the whole property in the land use restrictions, because then the expo, they're questioning, are we standing on contaminated ground or something? It doesn't make any sense. But they're just gonna require us to do it. That could cost anywhere from $50,000 to $100,000. I made the point that we have paid enough and we've gone long enough, and they recommended this brag application. So what we need is just the city to accept the administration. The money, like y'all are used to, will come through the city, and then it'll go to InSafe or whoever's doing the work. They will do the test. If the tests are, as we hope, clear, then they will survey the property out. There's no sense in surveying the property now, because we don't know if it's not gonna be clear, it's not any need or to survey it out. So that'll also be paid for in the grant. So all we need is to fill out the application, and I think they feel comfortable that we can get it.
And this is no expense to the city.
No expense to the
expense
city.
to
And
the city.
I recall that we looked at this for a couple of items that we thought in the city as well that might have some problems there. And they're different levels, but the level you're talking about with TDEC would be enough to cover
Yes.
whatever their cost would be.
Yes,
And
they
it
say
is-
the grant will probably be up to $100,000, but they didn't think it'd cost anywhere close to that.
Okay.
They'll just have to put additional wells down and test it. It'll be about a year before they clear.
Does anybody on the board have any questions about that? It would be basically a grant to this, administered through the city, so that we can get this cleaned up, separated, and hopefully keep from having to do
It's just to
something
separate.
to all of it. And it would still be a building of significant use.
Right.
And you would use some of it as well continually, right?
Yes, we
Yeah.
use it now and we lease it out. But
All right, Mr. Alderman has described that to us, and we're open for a motion to approve it.
I make the motion.
Ms. Austin makes that motion. Mr. Thompson, is that Mr. Thompson? Mr. Thompson made the second. Is there any discussion on that? Anybody have any questions about what we're doing here? If not, we'll vote. The money be involved, so let's take a roll call.
Alderman Austin? Yes. Alderman Chipman?
Yeah,
Alderman Frazier?
Yes.
Alderman Keeley?
Yes.
Alderman Long?
Yes.
Alderman Thompson?
Yes.
And Mayor Fitchie.
Yes. That passes unanimously. And does any member have any questions of Mr. Alderman or any other business, Alderman, or any other business for the board? Mr. Superintendent, anything? All right, and we will put this report in with the city board's report for power and light. Is that all right with you?
that's fine.
Okay. If there's nothing further, we stand adjourned. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Appreciate it. We'll wait now for a few minutes,
That
about
bill.
4 minutes, actually.
Do you
Well,